Ready? Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. This is Jaime from Evil Warnings, and today I have a very, very, very special guest. A guest that you don't usually see on YouTube. So it's Adrienne Davies from Earth.
Hello.
Hello. And well, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Talking to me.
No problem.
And I have a few questions, but I kind of like to talk a lot, so it might go into some other areas.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, the first one is just basically, how did you get into playing drums?
Well, really easy. It was the instrument. I came from a musical family, 4 brothers. We all played. My mom played. My dad. Everybody played music, and so you kind of get trained a little in everything and kind of pick up stuff. And I always kind of wanted to be a guitar player. That was the dream. But guitar, no matter what, I would get passable, but everything was a struggle. Everything wasn't, it didn't come naturally. It was not meant to be. But drums, from the early stage, it was just, I was one of those people that had, arms and legs operating separately, could do, I guess ambidextrous enough, or it came really naturally. And I guess that's not always the case. So, and you can still play drums even if you're a little like 2 left feet. It just takes just a little harder. But for me, it just came really naturally, and I love the idea of like being, the train, or like the heartbeat, or like controlling the emotional, controlling the dynamic and the emotion and the pulse of the music. It's a powerful position for sure.
I play drums myself too, but kind of started kind of late.
Okay.
And I can't really explain why. But like every time I listen to music, I'm one of those guys that is like,
just air drumming.
Air drumming, and my wife always
nothing
like,
wrong with air drumming.
You're a weirdo. It's like, I play drums, man. Like
one of my best friends at home in Seattle, I won't name her name, but she knows. She is a notorious air drummer, and she does it all the time, doesn't matter where she's at. But she's always so mortified when she does it in front of me, and I think I've been pretty kind about it. But apparently, one drunk night too many, I might have criticized a fill or 2.
Like that didn't look too good.
I think you missed the one on that one. But no.
Well, they should do maybe that they do those air guitar contests.
Exactly. She would be the champion.
The drumming.
She is amazing. Air drummer. Yes.
And do you know what age you started kind of?
Probably. real early. And we had my first kit. My brothers and I. It was like an old Ringo Ludwig, like mid '60s, blue, black, white kind of oyster shell Ludwig. And it was a little beat up, so I needed some love. But we used to basically wrestle and wrestle for who could play the drums, and pile drivers, half Nelsons, just merciless wrestling. And then whoever was triumphant would be able to play the drums that hour. And I got real good at wrestling.
That's good.
So real early.
Okay. Yeah. And any drummers that you remember that you like?
Oh man, I was way into, I love all the session guys, like Jim Keltner and Steve Gadd, especially for his kind of Cuban stuff and his snare work. He's just has his own thing, and it's such a blend of South American styles with American, and just a lot of flourishes with the snare that really draw the ear. And I love Jim Keltner's just simplicity and his serving of the song. He's not showy.
And he's one of the drummers that has recorded most albums or something like that.
Something like that. He's a pro. You're always like, wait, that's Jim Keltner, but you can hear it. He's one of those guys that he plays, each note really matters, and it's like you can feel him through. It's hard to make drums have the human come through it, as opposed to guitar. You can be, that's Jimi Hendrix, that's Eric Clapton. But with drums, it's like it's not a very human instrument. So to be able to pull that off, I love feeling the humanity of the person playing. So that I'm definitely not into. I can appreciate a Neil Peart or a really technically proficient drummer of any kind. But what I like to listen to and what really moves me are the drummers that serve the music and have an emotional impact with the drumming.
I think you've managed that because you can put any of your drum tracks on any PA. And I can tell it's you. I don't think, because it's such a distinctive style. I don't know.
Thank you.
Let me see, because I think that's that's not the next question, but it's one of the questions. Basically, kind of like when you join Earth, the way you play now is something that you had developed or you developed for the band.
Totally, yeah. And like what I do with Earth is not like even the way I set up, the way the kick pedal is, the way that's the slant of the floor tom. Especially when I first was in Earth, I had to really exaggerate it. Like stuff was as far as away as possible. Everything would create a drag. Even the kick pedal was super loose and way far back. So like it would create a natural physical drag and a delay. It was like the opposite of ergonomic drumming. And that was part of like the really cyclical big arm movements, just creating a natural pendulum of a hindrance in movement to be able to play that slow, because that didn't come naturally. A little bit naturally, but I had to really extend it through the setup and technique. And I also had a broken back when I was 17, so when I first started playing that slow, I don't know, it was just trying to figure out how to do it and not hurt myself. And I think I've finally, it's been long enough, but I've gotten a closer to traditional setup style than ever before, and still playing really slow material at times, and much more safe, not hurting myself. No repeat, ankle injuries from a kick pedal that is, not ergonomic. It just, everything's coming together, and it's a lot. It becomes an extension of your left hand, your right hand. The drums are no longer like this unpenetrable force that you have to like wrestle with. It's becoming a part of your physical presence,
Yeah, it's funny because I never really thought about it. When you play, that you move, it's like you're wrestling with, it's like something like physics.
It's the opposite of what you're supposed to do. When you play drums, you're supposed to set everything up so that it's ease of movement, ergonomic, like the path of least resistance. So you can play really fast and get as many, that is not what was going to work for what I was trying to do. But there's the pendulum has swung back, and it still has elements of that without hurting myself and without being as extreme.
Yeah, because I've tried many times. I can't play how you play. It's very unique and very hard.
I would probably have trouble playing like black metal blast beats or something.
But then who cares? Because everybody sounds the fucking same. To be honest.
I guess it's a little robotic, but there's.
I love blast beats.
Really good at it. Yeah, really good at it. Yeah.
But it's just I don't know, like what you were saying. You can't really hear sometimes. I guess it's the music, the productions don't allow the drummers to get personality.
It's a very dense occupation of space. With not a lot of space between notes.
So, all right. So let's see. So when you started with Earth, I guess. Well, I don't know, because I was kind of young, I guess, like before you came in. I guess it was. I guess I can say it was more like an obscure band, a little bit, like kind of known, but not that much.
Definitely.
And then when you came in, Hex came out, and I think you guys started touring, getting a lot of press, like, oh wow, Earth is back and all this. How do you integrate that in your life? Suddenly you became like an active musician, because before you weren't that, I guess.
Yeah, when I was in Seattle and earlier when I was in Olympia, I played in a little garage band, kind of fun, just fun punk rock garage bands. Nothing that was ever taken seriously or like committed to. But yeah, Earth was definitely the first like major commitment and like something that I put my whole being into really trying to do right by. But luckily, I think living in Seattle, Dylan always likes to call Earth the redheaded stepchild of Seattle. Like, not, no one. We're the least big in our home city, oddly enough. We're not. There's so many bands in Seattle, and so much that like we're just kind of under the radar. So it's like it hasn't really changed much in our daily lives for me. But I do get to go see the world and travel, which is something I've dreamt of. I think everyone dreams of doing that. And I just really enjoy touring a lot more now.
Yeah, because I guess if you don't tour like Metallica and you do this,
having a private jet, flying home in between.
That would be nice.
That's unbelievable.
And then like now that you mentioned about Seattle, do you guys still live up there?
I live there. I've always lived there. But Dylan is living there now, and he just kind of splits his time between London and Seattle.
Oh, okay,
yeah, he's there for the foreseeable future for a bit.
Because it's funny because like to me the music doesn't sound like Seattle.
That's odd. It's interesting.
And I always kind of categorize bands by the place where they're at.
It seeps in usually. Yeah.
And to me, like Earth music is always like early morning, sun rising, or late afternoon, sun kind of fading.
The magic witching hour.
Yeah, and then like desert, kind of like
dry desert.
This dry like. But so yeah, it's funny that in Seattle, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I always think where you live, you get influenced by the weather or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
well, one cool thing about Seattle, it's a big metropolitan city. It's got all the dot-commers. It's got Boeing. It's got all these like new, hot things, and it's been doing that for a while. But when you step just like an hour, 45 minutes outside the city, you're in the middle of a vast like old-growth forest.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of like rivers and lakes and real nature.
Yeah.
So that's really cool about such a metropolitan city. And the forest, I think, can figure into somewhere interesting.
Yeah.
Just the kind of bleak solitude of it, but the connection to things that grow and that are alive.
Yeah, I used to I lived for a few months when I was like 9 or 10 in Auburn.
Oh, Auburn. Yes.
But they didn't take me to Seattle that many times. I was living with a family.
Yeah.
They took me to Seattle because my favorite band is Pearl Jam.
Oh yeah, okay.
And the son of the family where I was living was a policeman in Seattle, and he took me to Eddie Vedder's house, in front of his house. He lives in southwest Seattle.
Okay, yeah.
Like there's a part that is...
Something, not West Seattle,
No,
Southwest.
it's like the downtown is kind of like here, there is some area.
All right.
And in front of the house, in front of his house.
Oh, wow.
And like, I always I love going to Seattle. It's always like, I just think about those memories as a kid. Anyway, off topic.
It's all right.
So, about like the new album, it sounds like starting from the cover, that you can look at it and say like, is that from the 70s? Is that Simon and Garfunkel?
It's got a little Stooges going on. It's got a little like,
You can tell, like you can say, oh, maybe 70s, maybe now.
Cool, timeless.
Who knows? Yeah, and then the sound is very
70s, hopefully. That open, like raw, unproduced.
The drums and
that's
all.
What we were going for.
But I like that it's not from this time.
Great.
So I feel that it's like, like production sometimes.
Yeah, you do anything that's too of the moment, that moment passes, and you'll always be kicking yourself saying, I really wish, I hadn't said, Paul Simon, feeling groovy. Like he might have been like, oh, why did I have to say that, or especially with lyrics, but also you can do it to yourself with production. I mean, look at some of Tom Petty's albums. Sometimes the production, the songs are great, but the production kind of, it makes a huge difference if you really date yourself or do something that's too hip and too of the moment. You might be great that moment, but it's just not going to stand up.
So did you decide to make it kind of simpler than the previous one because the previous one was more easy?
Yeah, it had a lot of guest vocalists, a lot of musicians going on. Our first time recording outside of Seattle, which at Rancho de la Luna with Dave Catching. So we just wanted to stay close to home, and we were working at the same studio, the same exact studio that we did Hex in, that we did Bees in, with Mel Detmer, who's mastered all of the, like pretty much all of the previous Earth. And we're just like, we wanted someone who knew us and knew what we were about, and Mel Detmer is that. She's worked with us for a long time, and we're like, well, we always have her master, but she does our live music. She's great. She's great at everything in front of house, and we're like, why don't we just have her engineer, record, mix, do the whole, and then it was just literally 3 human beings. Dylan on guitar and bass, me on drums and percussion, Mel on the engineering, and it's like, it limited all the extraneous kind of, we had a lot of extraneous stuff happening on the last album, and this kept us like in a little protected cocoon, where we were able to just be ourselves and get out of the way of the music and not have so many different things trying to distract me. And it was just one of my most, like, I really enjoyed making it. It was really easy, and it just came, nothing was hard, it just, everything came out really.
But it sounds like it's not, like I'm saying, oh, it's simple. But there is a lot of tiny little things. I was listening to it now in the car, and there is a moment I forgot. What's the song? It was one of the singles that the guitar
Cats on the Wire? Color of Poison.
There is a moment where the guitar stops.
Yeah.
The drums are playing, and there is like an effect, like a delay on the snare drum.
Massive delay, like whoa!
Yeah, suddenly like dub, like.
We totally dubbed it out, yeah.
But the next part doesn't have.
It doesn't have. We're just in weird spots, just to kind of make it go home, you know.
So there are a lot of little things that I pick every time, like, oh yeah, that's cool.
We tried to get weird, but because Mel gets really weird, Dylan can be pulled really weird. I love weird, but I'm always thinking weird, but does it serve the song? I'm like the voice of reason that tries to pull it back from completely psychedelic meltdown, you know. And I love psychedelic, but I always, is it distractingly weird? Is what I think. Can you still feel the intent of the music and the song, or are you just having fun in the recording? So like between the three of us, I think we would always, in mixing and editing, we'd get to the point where, hey, we're all happy. You know, it's getting weird, it's interesting, it's sonically something that's pulling the ear out, but it serves the song, which was what I was always.
Yeah, so I think you did it because every time I'm like, there's like a gong in the first song.
Weird stuff, like, I played a water bottle.
Oh, water bottle?
And we had to get the water exactly right for exactly the right pitch. Couldn't be flat, couldn't be sharp. I played a saw blade. I did backward scrape cymbals on Datura.
Yeah, this one moment that.
A lot of just really experimental percussion that I've always wanted to do, but with Earth albums in the past, drums and percussion had to be, there was so much density, so many overdubs, like so many guitar tracks, pedal steel, trombone, Wurlitzer organ, so many different tracks that the drums were always kind of in the background, but firmly there, but leaving tons of sonic space for everything else. But on this album, I got to just really step out and be more of a, you know, a frontal, not having to just place the brackets around what was later to come. I was able to be like almost like a front voice in a call and response with the guitar instead of just, you know. So that means more fills, more, you know, don't have to be restrained at all times.
Yeah, there is more. I wrote here, like for example, in Exaltation of Larks.
Yeah.
When I listen to that song,
I was like,
to me, it sounds like Latin. If you speed it up, because the toms and the right, it has like this thing.
I love those just single hit tom fills.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. To me, if you speed it up, it sounds like some kind of Latin feel.
I'll have to try that.
That's what I wrote, and then there is this one, Maiden's.
Oh, Maiden's Kettlebell.
Yeah, that's kind of like almost like free jazz, kind of like super loose,
so unanchored,
like kind of
just the barest minimum to keep it. That was about as loose as we got on this one.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Angels of Darkness 2, where we were really getting free with the jazz, open, kind of improv, like similar to that.
Yeah, I love those
that
albums.
one. Yeah.
A lot of brushes.
I love that. I mean, I mean. So we get lumped in with heavy and metal and stuff, but I think where we really shine and what I enjoy doing, I love metal and I love playing hard, but I love being dark, heavy, and impactful and like really strong emotion, but doing it quietly or with brushes or, you know, hot rods, whatever, just like the gentle things can be just as ominous and dark and, you know, slamming, you know, pounding 18-inch floor tops.
No, there's no need. Luckily for that. So, all right. So let me see. I was watching a video the other day, and as I told you, I've seen you guys like 3-4 times playing live, and I never paid attention. But I saw like a live video the other day on YouTube, and I saw like a lot of visual communication playing live.
Oh yeah.
So I was wondering, because I imagine that you don't count. Or you don't play the parts as exactly as the album. So maybe when I was looking at Dylan that he was kind of like, okay, the next riff is coming, and then it comes.
Well, we do have stuff charted unless we're in the improv parts of songs, and where there's supposed to be a certain amount of part A, a certain amount of part B, but the rest of the band, is the beauty of learning how to play with Dylan, we don't go until he signals, even if we know it's time to go, because it's a train wreck. So whether I know it's been 10 or 5, I don't go unless I get the, so it's very visual.
But do you count it?
Oh yeah. To
me, it's so hard to count.
Really? Well,
like, once it gets more than 8 bars,
like,
I'm like kind
of just count 5 twice, it'll be good.
Yeah, I always, I don't know how to read music or anything. Never really managed to learn, so I'm always by feel.
And everything's self-taught, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But then it's kind of it's a little bit limiting, and then sometimes you get lost.
But it also has positives because you think outside of what the stuff that would to a trained musician seem like, oh, you can't do that, that's not allowed, that's outside the laws. To you is totally possible, and you don't know you can't do it, which I think makes magic happen. You know?
That's true. Some mistakes also. So yeah, it reminded me when I saw that video. I don't know if you've seen Fantomas, that Mike Patton project. With Buzz from
Davies. That's right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay.
If you, well, they don't. I don't think they play anymore live or anything.
But check it out. One of
the. They're constantly looking, and it's Dave Lombardo, my friend from drums. Inside joke. But they're always looking because they're kind of like, and it's all this vocal craziness, and they're like, and they're like. It's just all visual, and it's so cool to watch live because the music is kind of crazy, but it's really cool to see.
Yeah, well, and also there's always musical tells, and like musical kind of lead ups to the next change, which so I can hear it. I know it's coming. And but then especially we have a new guitar player, so Dylan's being more visual, more obvious with his tells. It used to just be like a tiny little twitch of an eyebrow or a little flare of nostril, just the tiniest thing. We're like, oh, I guess we're moving now. But he's being more just to make sure. We've been playing this whole way down the West Coast, so it's definitely feeling like a band now. And like, Tristan's doing great. So,
and I love to hear that because I love jazz, and I get goosebumps when I see like Miles Davis, like the 70s era, like that communication between like a bunch of people.
Almost telepathy. It's like, how do they do that?
And him just like looking, just giving like a nasty look, like a little bit, and it's like, gosh, how do we? It's just crazy. But anyway, let me see. Well, this is kind of like something that we talked about before, like if you really see colors or see like the scenes that I was telling you when you listen to earthy music, do you see
like synesthesia, that where you see
do you
color
see
for sound?
Things? Do you feel something?
I mean, not all the time, not like every second of every note, no, but definitely visual elements are kind of impressions and kind of repeat kind of characters that kind of revisit with certain motifs, you know. But definitely, like certain albums in particular have a definite certain colors. Colors are more tied to them, but a little bit,
I don't know, because
I know as a listener when if I'm not playing, if I'm just listening to something, definitely. Playing, I think my front of the brain's more involved, and then they're trying to let it come out and step back so that the music can come through you. That's when that happens. So it's like a gentle mix between the two when performing.
Yeah, I guess something that happens more to listeners that are outside and imagining. So. Yeah, I always felt like you guys need to make like some kind of soundtrack with Nick Cave or somebody like that.
Yeah.
You know, like all those Jesse James.
Or Warren Ellis action.
Yeah, because the music just fits so well.
Yeah, we would love to.
So you never been approached to?
We did a soundtrack for Gold. The German kind of country western set back, you know. 1800s, but that was our only time acting music for live film and like, you know, actually creating it to the playback and timing it just right and all that. But we've had music used in films, like already done or songs. But
don't know if
Just waiting for an offer.
he lives in London. Maybe he will see Nick Cave.
Oh yeah, maybe.
When he lives in Brighton, I guess.
Or yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
So, but you guys did at the Cine Family. Didn't you score like a sound?
Yeah.
Where was that?
That was for the Swedish film, The Haxan. And that was great.
Yeah, I saw it. I couldn't go, but I remember.
You know, no, I'm sorry, I forgot this too. We did a live film score for Belladonna of Sadness at the Ghent Film Festival.
Okay.
And that is actually where the beginnings of Belladonna, Descending Belladonna, came from. Cats on the Briar also came from that. The origin, or the way it developed differently for the album, but that's where those two songs originated.
That's the one with the weird bass at the beginning. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
super creepy. Yeah.
So yeah, I miss. So when you do those like that Haxan movie, is it all improvised or what do you do?
A lot of improvised, and we were charting out. We knew where we were going with each scene, and each arc of the movie, and the dramatic moments, the more reserved moments, and then also leaving silence, not playing the whole way through. But yeah, definitely, that's the funnest part is being able to improv, but not complete free jazz. Improv, you're improvising within a certain parameter of tension and control. So not full improvisation,
Yeah, I'm sad that I missed that because it sounded.
It was really.
And I haven't seen that movie.
Oh yeah, it's a
creepy
super creepy demons, witches, fires.
Yeah,
black and it's like 1922, like a very early black and white film. But it was fun to do music for sure.
Yeah. Sounded like a good show. So I guess I went over everything without asking.
Nice.
But the last question, and this is very hard.
Very hard. Okay, give it to me.
If you had to choose a replacement for you in the band.
Ooh. Oh, that's a hard one. You're not kidding.
And somebody that can do it.
Okay.
Somebody.
Wait, actually, I know my answer. Thomas Weidler.
Who's Thomas?
He was the original drummer in Die Out. Ended up being with the Bad Seeds, Nick Cave. For a long time, still is. He's really good at the softer stuff. Like if you look at, this is a perfect example. If you look at the Lyre of Orpheus and what's the other? It's the two album, Lyre of Orpheus and Abattoir Blues. Okay, so on Abattoir Blues, part A, it was Jim Sclavonius doing the more rocking kind of punk rocky kind of drums. It's a tighter, more rock and roll songs. Part B, Lyre of Orpheus, was all Thomas Weidler. Like they split one drummer on one album. I mean, it's a double album, but one drummer on the harder stuff, Thomas Weidler on the softer stuff. So all that delicate, like breathless, like all those really soft songs on that album is Thomas Weidler, and he's a super cool, nice dude.
Is he still playing with them?
Yes, yeah, as far as I know.
Yes, I'm confused because they had two drummers.
I don't quote me, but I do believe so, at least in some part. And he's usually living in Berlin. But I know Jim Sclavonius also, so I'm not 100% sure in between the two.
Yeah, because Jim plays in Grinderman too.
Yes, yeah, he was doing Grinderman.
Alright, so that's settled.
I think because he can do heavy, but he's super good at just that delicate, less is more, like heart on coming out with the drums.
Because I heard that you like Jim White.
Oh shoot! Now you gotta make it difficult. Jim White, I love him too. Yeah, I love really expressive drummers that are good at heavy and quiet and soft and are super, where you can feel the emotion and you can feel their humanness through their playing. And those are the two that come to mind.
Yeah, those are and very, I think, kind of open-minded, not very. They wouldn't mind using this bench to do something.
Very just loose and uninhibited, free players.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Yeah, right.
I don't have any existential questions or anything.
All right.
So, and I think it's been almost half an hour. So
Perfect
I think it's enough punishment for you.
No, easy peasy.
That's it. All right. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck tonight with the rest of the show.
All right.
I hope you continue and grow and make soundtracks and everything.
All right, and I hope the listeners enjoyed us talking about drums for half an hour.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right.
Thanks.